Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem. So we're continuing. We're Pasuk Tet Zayin,
That
right? We did Tet Vav.
yes.
Sorry, at the end of the last show. Now we're doing Tet Zayin. Orech Yamim Bimina. Long life is in her right. Ubismola, and in her left. Osher ve'kavod, wealth and respect and kavod. So the Gaon brings the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, Daf Samech Gimel. Or Yamim Bimina, there's long life to her right, meaning to the one that are making their Torah their right. What does it mean to make your Torah your right? So he says, if your Torah is Lishma, and how do you make your Torah Lishma? Or how do you know that your Torah is Lishma? So the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat Samer Gimel says, it basically brings this pasuk, right? Gemara says, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, אומר, זוכין לדברים שנאמרו במינה של תורה, right? So the Gemara says, where do you know that? Because he says, אורך ימין בימינה ובשמאלה עושר וכבוד. So the Gemara says, אלא בימינה אורך ימין ניכר עושר וכבוד. If you on the right there is אורך ימין, but there's not עושר וכבוד. So the Gemara says, no, למילה מינים בה. אורך עיקר, וכל שכן עושר וכבוד. For sure that there is עושר וכבוד. But on top of עושר וכבוד, you have also אורך ימים, אריכות ימים, long life. But למס מילים, the ones that are making their Torah their left, עושר וכבוד עיקר. אורך ימים לעיקר. They have עושר and כבוד, but they lose the benefit of longevity, of long life. And Rashi there explains what does it mean, למימינים, שמפספסים טעמיהם בדקדוק. When they learn the Torah, they don't just do Torah, they don't learn just to check the box. They don't just learn to know. They dive deep until they master what they're learning, just like a craftsman masters his work with his right hand. A craftsman, when let's say he's a carpenter or he works metal, whatever, yeah, obviously, and Rov is that he's a righty. When he starts using the tools with his right hand, it doesn't have any doubts, right? He masters it. He knows that he's mastering the craft. And he will go for perfection. So says the Gemara, if you want arichut yamim from your learning of the Torah, make it your right, meaning bring it to a level of learning and lifestyle that it's becoming you. There's no more doubt. You can master it, you can control it, right? In your behavior, your learning of the Torah becomes so part of you that you don't need to second guess it. Good? And obviously comes with that, Osher and Kavod. Bismola Osher veKavod, and on her left, there is Osha v'Kavod. I'm sorry? On her left, there's Osha v'Kavod, but there is no Orech Yamim. It's for the ones that are not learning Lishma. They're learning because they have to learn, they're forced to learn, they're scared of what can happen if they don't learn, or they learn because they want kavod, they want to be known as somebody that's knowledgeable, or because they want to be, they want the title of a rabbi. So depending on the motivation of your learning, you benefit a bracha of the Torah. If you do English ma for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? For the Torah is nitzchi, the Torah is infinite. So you're zoche to arichut yamim, to longevity, right? Because the infinity of the Torah grants a person, if it's lishma, right, long life. And if you're doing for kavod, then you have kavod. And what's kavod? Osha v'chavod. If that's what you're doing, you get it. Meaning, even if you don't do it lishma, there is a benefit. But if you do it lishma, there is all the benefits. Yes, Andy.
Wanna be knowledgeable is not a part of like Leshem Shamayim. You want to be wiser.
Yes, but if it depends if you want to be knowledgeable because you want to be known as somebody knowledgeable, or you're knowledgeable because you want to know. If you want to be known as somebody that's knowledgeable, that's not lishma. But if you want to learn to know because you need to know, because you want to know, you're savvy to know, that's lishma. Good. Next pasuk. Deracheha darke Noam.
We know this one.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Good timing.
The timing is always perfect. דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה shalom. Her paths, her ways. Because we know that there's a difference between the ways and the... Her ways are pleasant. וכל נתיבותיה, and her paths are peaceful. So it says the Gaon, the Darchei Torah are pleasant What is the drachim? We say drachim are wide, right? The ways, they're wide, they're known, they're used, they're common. People use ways. Yeah, that's the difference with the path. Shlomo Melech uses a lot the path versus the way, the derech versus the orach, yeah, and the nitiv. So says the Gaon, if you learn Lishma, the derech that you will take, the known ways of the Torah, will get you to Noam Hashem, will get you to a pleasant feeling. And what is that pleasant feeling? That you will feel always in the presence of the Shekhinah, in the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what makes it pleasant. So the pleasure of the noam, yes, comes from the interaction of Akadosh Baruch Hu with the person when the person is on his way, is on the way of the Derech HaTorah. And it's essentially coming from what? Because through the Derech HaTorah, through learning the Torah, through the path of the Torah, through the ways of the Torah, you get to reveal HaKadosh Baruch Hu more. And you get to understand and see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is closer than you thought. That gives the definition, that gives the person the sentiment of Noam. He calls it Noam Ha'ilyon, the elevated pleasures. V'chol netivotea shalom. And all her paths are peaceful. He said the paths, they're small. In little paths, you can make mistakes. When you're on their way, you can make a left instead of a right. You can get lost. He says the path is referring to the Torah Shelo Lishma. Because when you do a Torah Shelo Lishma, it's a mix of learning Torah with personal interests, motivation. Says Shlomo HaMelech, even these people, they're still in the path of Shalom. They will still have a peaceful journey, even if it's not Lishma. Why? That's what the Chacham tell us. Le'olam ya'asok b'Torah u'b'mitzvot af al pi shelo lishma. Why? Shemitoch shelo lishma b'lishma. A person should learn his Torah and should be involved in the Torah, even if he knows it's not lishma. Even if it's due to a personal interest. Why? Because mitoch shelo lishma b'lishma. Because eventually, by doing it not for the right reason, you're going to end up doing it for the right reason. And the benefit of that comes out is that there's peace. It's a peaceful path. Hashem protects the person, even if he does a shelo lishma, to be in a path that is peaceful, considering the challenges that he may face and the mistakes he may do by learning shelo lishma. So the difference between the shelo lishma and lishma is what? The shelo lishma is you're at peace. You're in a peaceful journey. Peaceful is nice, but it's parve, right? Peaceful is parve. No, unpleasant is already a high, right? Something that's pleasant is proactive, is enriching. It's a dynamic feeling. The other nekuda that's important is that when you do learn lishma, suddenly your path becomes wide. It goes from a path to ways. Because why? It's very simple. Why? Because if you learn lishma, then you're open to everything, right? You want to know everything. Like Rashi says, you're going to dive into the very specific, very deep concept. You're going to be very accurate. So your learning widens tremendously. So that your Torah Lishma becomes ways. But if it's not lishma, so it's specific to personal interests, so it's narrowed down by the person's interests. So he goes from ways to paths. And now he's only exposing himself to a limud Torah that is specific to what he's trying to accomplish. So essentially, we go from Rafhu to Tzimtzum. We go from very broad, open, enriched, large lifestyle and exposure to the Torah when it's Lishma, to a very narrow, limited, restricted Torah when it's not Lishma. Because essentially it's funneled through an entonnoir, right? It goes through a filter that is called my personal interest. And now the Torah is mitzumtzemet, narrowed down, right? So the Lishma is you opening yourself to the Torah, and Shelo Lishma is narrowing down the Torah to fit you. That's how the Gaon differentiates the two. Then you had a question.
I don't know if I had a question, but I was going to say, if you look at the two psukim that we just did, there's the correlation between, it seems like there's a correlation between, right? The Orech Yamim B'Yamina is equivalent to Dachei Noam, and Bismuna Osher B'Chabod. It seems
Yeah,
like
it's all one. It's all one.
it seems
That's
like,
yeah. Nachon. Nachon. Orech Yamim Bimina is Lishma. It goes with Derachei Darkei Noam. That's the Lishma in the two.
yeah.
Ubismona Osher V'Kavod Shelo Lishma. It goes with V'chol Nitivotei Shalom.
And if you want to just say, I'm going to learn Torah because I want to have that connection to Hashem, that pleasantness, is that still considered lishma? I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, to do the Lechot
Because
Shamayim.
there is a selfish thing to it, though. You're saying you have a pleasant connection to Hashem. You have He's with you all the
So
time.
in the introduction of the Igletal, the Igletal says that to enjoy your Torah and be besimcha and to love the sweetness of the Torah does not take away the lishma.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't the Mesilat Yesharim say that the purpose of life is lithaneg al Hashem?
להתענג על השם, yes. נכון, נכון. נכון. So all this, it basically, okay, is a difference between the Lishma and the Shelo Lishma. Next pasuk. Etz Chaim hi lama hazikim ba. It is a tree of life to the ones that hold on to it. V'tomcheha me'ushar, and the ones who tomech, supporting it, holds it, me'ushar, it gives satisfaction, happiness. So it says mahzik, to hold on, to grasp. Usually you grasp with your two hands. Something that is important, you're going to hold it with your two hands. Because you're scared that it's gonna drop. So says the Gaon, Et Chaim Hi, it is a tree of life. A tree of life, a tree is, what's a tree? A tree is a vessel that brings fruits. A tree of life is a vessel that brings life, that yields life. So to whom the Torah is a vessel that yields life, that creates new life, that's the Hidush here. Etz Chaim, you understand? It's very important to understand that. How can a person create new life, quantitatively and qualitatively? לאותם המחזיקים התורה בשתי ידיים, ימין ושמאל, מצוות עשה ולא תעשה. To the ones that are holding on to the Torah with their right and with their left, meaning the right is mitzvot aseh, with their accomplishment of mitzvot aseh, and with their left with the refrain from the lo ta'aseh. But not just doing it, but holding on to it with the same importance and with the same attention a person would hold on to something precious, right? If you hold on to a cup of crystal and it's very, very rare and it's very beautiful and you hold on to it, your awareness and your attention is on the cup to make sure that the cup doesn't get glitched, it doesn't crack, doesn't fall. So the attention to the Torah on that level, when it comes to your mitzvot aseh and your mitzvot lo ta'aseh, meaning you care of doing your mitzvot aseh, and you're bothered by the lo ta'aseh, right? When they are important to you enough that your awareness is attentive to the actual mitzvah, then your Torah, your mitzvot, become vessels that can create a new life, that can grant a person life on a qualitative and on a quantitative level. Meaning a person can extend his life span, right? Just by the way he does his mitzvot. Big חידוש. ותומכיה מאושר, and the one that hold on to it, that support it, מאושר, it brings happiness, are happy. What support usually a person? His legs. Says the Gaon, there's two ways to be tamchin deoraita. There's two ways to support the Torah. You can support the Torah with money, and you can support the Torah with your body. He says the ultimate level of tmicha of the Torah. So now we've spoken about the obligation of learning the Torah, right? Which is the Etz Chaim hi, lama hazikim ba, right? That's the first portion. The tmicha, the support of the Torah, he says the ultimate, he says through the tomech, through the mammon, through supporting the Torah of the Talmid Chacham, and the body, shimush Talmidei Chachamim. Shimush Talmidei Chachamim is basically to help physically the Talmid Chacham, to be involved physically in his time and in his life. by supporting the Talmid Chacham, you learn a tremendous Shimush Talmid Chacham. There's a lot of there's a dimension of Torah that you cannot learn just from Shiurim. But being next to the Talmid Chacham, seeing his behavior, the way he eats, the way he sleeps, the way he you know, what he does, right? Gives you, brings to life lessons that can stay very dry and theoretical if you only learn it as a lesson. He says, "Vetomcheha" in plural, because you have to be involved in those two tmichot. You have to be involved in those two types of support. One is not enough. A person cannot walk on one leg. So you need to be supportive financially and supportive with your body. And here, if you summarize these three psukim, Shlomo HaMelech brings forward the 7 presents that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Am Yisrael through the Limud HaTorah. Chaim, life, and we're going to go through them to the bottom. Osher, wealth. Banim, children. Chokhmah, wisdom. Kavod, respect and fame. Chen, grace and charisma. Veshalom, and peaceful, and peace. And he said, Orech Yamim. What is Orech Yamim, longevity? It's Chaim, it's life. Osher is Osher, right? Well, Kavod, it's Kavod, we know. Derachei Adarke Noam. Noam is referring to the Chokhmah. Because it's through the Chokhmah, that you can actually understand the proximity with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and be pleased and enjoy it, right? Your Chokhmah allows you to know how to enjoy the right things. So the pleasantness, to be pleased, you need Chokhmah. Ez Chaim. Ez Chaim is what? A vessel that brings life is the kids, right? Vetomchei me'ushar. The Osher, a person that is happy, that is satisfied, he said it comes from the Chen. He says the person that is satisfied, okay, he is when a person sees around him that people are attracted, that he's relevant, he's interesting. So the Osher with an Aleph, Osher, satisfaction and happiness, is a result of the Chen a person has. Shalom is shalom. בכל נתיבותיה shalom. Seven berachot, 7 matanot that the Torah gives a person. So the three elements that come out from these three psukim is number one, to care and respect and value the Torah and the opportunities of the mitzvot as something that's very, very important to us. And if it's very important, we're going to hold on to it tight. Each and every opportunity, number one. Number two, we have to make sure with this care, level of care and attention, we're going to want to know the Torah all the way, to as deep as possible, with as much accuracy as possible. And number three, to be involved not only on a theoretical level, on a learning level, but on a practical level, not on a personal level, not me, but with the Talmidei Chachamim, because that plays a tremendous role in the growth of a person's Torah and his Torah Lishma. All these three psukim are self-centered on the person's growth and the responsibility of actions, right? Except for Tomchei Me'ushar, which is the legs, which are basically for the benefit of the person, but focused on the Talmidei Chachamim or around that person. Which means that when you think about it, supporting a Talmid Chacham financially or with your time and your body has a direct impact on your learning of the Torah. It has a direct impact on the way you do your mitzvot. And not only it has an impact, it is what supports you and your behavior and your Torah, because it is compared to the legs supporting everything. So what carries you and what allows you to move forward are these two elements: the hands, the head, the heart, the lungs. It's all yours. This is everything we spoke about in this psukim. But what carries you forward and what holds on to all this and gives it a stature and a koma and a tzura and a presence is these two elements of tmicha, the two elements of support. You would think that if you give tzedakah to Talmidei Chachamim, give tzedakah. It's part of the mitzvah of tzedakah. The rabbi needs a ride, or the rabbi needs somebody to go with him. Okay, so I'm a nice guy. I did him a favor. Okay. But comes Shlomo HaMelech and turns, flips things around. He says, no, not at all. He says, this is what holds you. This is what builds you. This is what allows you to move forward. So it's a direct investment in your own growth and in your own surah of Torah. To the point that essentially, like this, your Torah becomes a Torah Lishma, And now your Torah becomes a vessel to create longevity, to ensure a longer life. To ensure that your life is a life of bracha. When we say Zochenu lechaim, not just a lifetime. We're not asking for time. We're talking for chaim, for life where that is meaningful. And כמובן all the other benefits that the Gaon enumerated in these psukim.
Beautiful.
So next pasuk is shifting to something else. Next psukim. So we're gonna stop here. We did pasuk tet zayin, yud zayin, and yud chet. Any question?
Baruch Hashem.